Hey man, what's going on? Your mower's ready. Just want to show you something with the throttle cable here that I adjusted. And I did this before where I had to, instead of having you replace this whole new throttle cable, I just had to tweak it right there and also there to make it fit. All right, I had to like cut off the old stuff, rebend it. It was not easy getting this back on. And then you'll see in here there's that butterfly valve. Watch what happens when I move this from the choke position full forward. So this is the, when it's cold for starting, I'm going to move this to the forward position like this. That way, watch what happens when I move it here. Watch what happens on the carburetor. This wasn't happening when you first brought it to me. You see that butterfly valve down in there? And that's the choke position when it's cold. So you're cutting off air, you're giving it more gas. And then once it starts, it'll start to kind of like sputter out and want to die because it's choked. You're choking the engine. And then you just bring it back a little bit and then move it to full throttle position. Then it'll find itself. You'll find the right RPM as you adjust the throttle. You'll see. And then underneath here, so those are good things that are working now. Your choke's working. It should start up and it's all good. Here's your transmission belt, super tight. I adjusted this pulley in to make it tighter on the new belt. Your old one had a big crack in there like I showed you last time you were here. On the blade drive belt here, when it's engaged right now, the engage handle, when I move the handle back to disengage it, you see how that belt now it rests on this bolt right here. Well, this bolt can be adjusted this way and that way. And I had to adjust it that way as much as possible to put tension to keep this thing in place when it's not engaged. So it's in loose right now. This thing's just going to be spinning and spinning and spinning, but the belt's not going to turn the mandrels back there to turn the blade. So this bolt, if you can see that channel that the bolt sits in, I had to adjust that. I had to loosen the bolt and move it out that way to put more just staying, to keep that belt in place so it stays there and it doesn't slip off of this pulley right here. All right, so that's as much as I can adjust it really. And you saw I did another adjustment on that pulley when you were here one day, way back in front there, or over there. And it goes fast. You'll be pretty happy with this. Now, one thing you want to do, when this warms up and it runs great. It really is a good running engine. But when you go to start it back up after you've warmed it up, you've been using it, and I cut my grass with it the other day, it would not start back up, okay? And like what happened when you were here last time, we brought it back in the garage and there was no spark coming to the spark plug. I don't know why. I took this whole shroud thing off and I noticed a wire that was a grounding wire that goes to this coil that's activated by your kill switch over there. And I thought it might be grounding internally there. Thought I might have maneuvered it around to keep it from grounding, but this is now losing spark. It seems to still be doing it only after you've been running it for a while. So if that happens to you, I recommend, well, you can change this coil. I mean, that's something. And this coil is underneath the shroud here. It's not that difficult to get to. And you can get them for about 40 bucks. Now, coils kind of look like, see if I can find one here that goes on a motorbike. If I got any laying around in here,